Phantom Stranger number 13, written by J.M.D. Mateus, art by Fernando Blanco. So last issue, a whole bunch of stuff happened, but the big ending was Sin Eater showed up and burned down Phantom Stranger's house, or his own house, because it's Philip Stark's house. Anyway, this issue picks up with Phantom Stranger just sitting in the fire saying, "Oh God, this is awful. I had a life here, and now it's all burning up, and it's all because of you." And he looks over at Sin Eater, and just like, "This was my house. You stole my family." He's like, "You would have killed them anyway. You're awful. I loved them more than you ever did." And he's like, "How dare you? I love them in my own special way." So at that point, he goes to like lunge at Sin Eater, and then this dog that's hanging out with Sin Eater, who's apparently a hellhound to some extent, named Non. He charges at Phantom Stranger saying, "Hey, back off. Don't you be judging him, lest ye be judged." And the saliva that comes off of the dog's mouth actually burns Stranger's soul. And he's like, "That's weird. That shouldn't happen." So at that point, Non says, "All right, Sin Eater, let's go. We got bigger things to do." And he's like, "Oh, all right, fine. Whatever." So they head out of the house. The house continues to burn to the ground. And then Phantom Stranger comes out and sees all the neighbors gathering around, just being like, "Oh man, luckily the family wasn't home. What happened to the Starks anyway? I feel like I haven't seen them in forever." And Phantom Stranger's like, "Don't you guys remember? There was a party. They left. Everybody said bye and they moved away." And all of them are like, "Oh yeah." And they all leave. And then we see Zoriel come up being like, "Hey, you gave him a little mind whammy there. That's cool." And he's like, "Zoriel, what do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just, angels are always around. Maybe it's just, they don't usually notice it." He's like, "Okay, you here to kill me again?" He's like, "Hey, I was forced to do that. That was my duty. I didn't want to do it. And I'm actually happy you're back." He's like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "I kind of wanted to show you something." So he takes Phantom Stranger to a graveyard where there are now graves for his deceased family, for his wife and children. And he sits at the graves and he's like, "You did this? You brought their bodies back and gave them a proper burial?" He's like, "No, actually, Sin Eater did it." And he's like, "What? No, he couldn't do that. He's a creep. He's a monster. There's no way he'd bury them." He's like, "Nah, he kind of meant it when he said he loved them in his own special way. Like, he's a psycho. He's a monster. I'm not defending that, but like, he did love them." He's like, "You're showing compassion towards this monster." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm an angel. That's kind of what I do." So at that point, he says, "All right, why are you really here?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm here to remind you about the promise you made right before you were unmade." And he pokes Phantom Stranger in the chest, and then all of a sudden there's this light that comes out from him. He's like, "Oh, right. Dr. Light gave me this thing and said to give it to his family, and I made that promise. I completely forgot about this." So he goes to Dr. Light's house. He drops this orb of light over their home, and it descends on them like pixie dust. And the wife wakes up, sees the soul, sees a light construct of Dr. Light, and she kisses it and then falls back asleep peacefully. And it seems that this is some way to overcome their grief. And Phantom Stranger's like, "Oh, that was nice." So Zoriel's like, "All right, well, if you need me, just give a thought to heaven and I'll be down here. I'm here to help." And he's just like, Why are you here to help me all of a sudden? What's going on?" He's like, "Well, maybe I've always been by your side. Maybe you just are only seeing me just now." And he's like, "All right, whatever." Zoriel's a weird one. So at that point, he realizes, "Oh, right, I still have some unfinished business with the dude that killed me." So he goes to Hub City, where the Question is looking at his murder board, and Question's like, "I can feel you there, lurking in the shadows. What's going on?" And I gotta say, every single one of his things is a question. I might not phrase it as such, but it is. And Phantom Stranger basically comes up, starts storming him, and be like, "Why did you murder me?" And he's like, "Are you here for questions or vengeance? Didn't your old boss say turn the other cheek?" And so Phantom Stranger pulls some wacky whatever magic he's got going on, manages to get Question, who can turn into this smoke form, gets him back into corporeal and throws him into his murder board, just being like, "Look, your evil has infected humanity far too long." He's like, "Oh, so you're here to kill me?" And just like, "That's not God's choice. That's my choice. I'm the one doing this." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's see who the real evil one truly is here." And he pulls back out the Spear of Destiny, shoves it in the ground next to Phantom Stranger's face, and basically says, "Why am I with you? Why is my fate tied to yours and Pandora's? Why? That's what I don't get." And at that point, Phantom Stranger realizes, like, right, you were wiped of your memory when you became the question. I'm stuck with all of my memories, and that's my own kind of curse, but you don't even remember why you're being punished. So, okay, yeah, I kind of get this now. But they teleport out and they appear in Jerusalem, right? And he's like, oh, hey, it's my old home. That's cool. That's great. And Question turns to everyone in the crowd nearby and is just like, hey, everyone, don't you see how evil this guy is? Don't you think he should die? And then they all start attacking Phantom Stranger. And he's just like, okay, no, I'm not dealing with this. So he casts them all away, goes back over and starts beating up Question again. He's like, don't you understand it? You have a gift, not a curse. You don't remember your sins. You're able to start a new life. Isn't that good enough? Isn't that something? And Question's just like, okay, well, maybe you weren't here you weren't here to kill me. Maybe you came here because you know that I'm the only one who can kill you. And he hands Phantom Stranger the Spear of Destiny. And he's like, oh, right. I could escape all this. I could die because it almost killed me before. The only reason I was brought back was because I was, found by the Justice League Dark. But I could actually die here if I wanted to. And as it looks like he's about to do it, all of a sudden that light from his chest starts again, the Dr. Light thing. And he's like, yes, of course, this was the gift. It was this whisper in my soul. It's a brighter future. It's all that. It's basically just, hey, don't kill yourself. Things are going to get better. And at that point, the Spear of Destiny is dropped to the ground. Question starts to go for it. And Zoriel shows up. He's like, no. Question, that's going back where it belongs. You aren't getting that anymore. And Question's like, this isn't over. He just disappears. So then Zoriel and Phantom Stranger are left staring. They're standing in Jerusalem, and they're like, yeah, it's good to be back in the homeland, And then all of a sudden, Stranger disappears, and Zoriel's like, did you purposely leave, or were you taken? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, we see Stranger, Question, and Pandora all chained to the ground, and they look up and they see Constantine, Nightmare Nurse, and Swamp Thing sitting on the thrones of the Rock of Eternity. And they say, hey, Trinity of Sin, it is I, Constantine, Nightmare Nurse, and Swamp Thing. We have brought you here back to the Rock of Eternity to help us kill evil. And that will then fold itself into Forever Evil Blight, which is another spin-off of Forever Evil that's happening over Justice League Dark, Constantine, Pandora, and Phantom Stranger, I believe. There might be one or two more series in there. Anyway, this issue, I like the first part. I like the part with Sin Eater being like, I did care for my family and whatnot. I also like the Dr. Light stuff in the middle and the Question stuff. The only part that I really kind of was like, that's a bit corny, is the Dr. Light bit exploding out of Phantom Stranger being like, no, things are going to be okay. That was a bit too much. But all the rest of the stuff I thought was interesting, philosophical, pardon the pun, questions being asked here of like, why are they here? Is it better to remember your sins or for be able to start a new life like that? I'm liking it. I think this book does great with those sort of bigger questions. It is leaning a bit heavy on the Christianity for me. I mean, I'm fine with it being that he's Judas, and I'm fine with there even being God and angels, but like the fact that Question lays out a whole monologue basically saying like, didn't Jesus say turn the other cheek? Shouldn't you be listening to him? Isn't this all what Christianity's about? And it's just like, okay, let's just pump the brakes there, buddy. But beyond that, it's a fine book. I really do enjoy it. So I'm going to say this one is a straight 7. Just very good. I'm looking forward to seeing what Blight has in store. And yeah, I'm always impressed by Phantom Stranger.